beautiful souls. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be with you again. Okay, to begin, if you are here on Earth now, it means that you are a great and powerful being, the strongest of the strong. What do I mean? When souls lined up to come to Earth for this significant shift of consciousness, where an entire universe will shift into a higher density of thought, souls from all across the universe and beyond wanted to take part. However, because not every soul was advanced or spiritually mature enough to withstand the heavy density or the inevitable corruption they would face during this fall of mankind and the terrors that the earth would face, they were turned away in preference to those who had already made the journey or one similar. And yes, not just the planet will ascend, but the entire universe will raise in frequency. Guys, this is the greatest event ever seen in all of the history of this quadrant of the galaxy. Big stuff happening. So, how is this going to occur? Well, I know there are many theories floating around here on YouTube, so I just figured I might as well add mine. Well, when I was a child, I was shown by my celestial guides what would happen during this time, at least based on the timeline I would see in my future. Remember, each of us creates our own timeline, therefore our own past, present, and future, altering as the person evolves. Well, I was shown how it would occur from within the life of a family or a group of friends, who are all living in the same area or even in the same household, yet vibrating at very different frequencies, therefore creating different timelines. Well, let's say that within that group, there are those who are awakened, sometimes called starseeds, and there are those who are not. Those beings who are evolving spiritually and have become enlightened and aware of this upcoming transformation will try to inform the others, their family and friends, of this predestined ascension event. But often the others can't be bothered, with the information, and they just think that they're all crazy. Well, over time, those who are spiritually knowledgeable and plugged into truth will probably continually attempt to bring the others in the group along with them, by warning them that they will need to make a choice of who they want to be as a person, kind and loving or self-serving. But still, the others don't listen or believe in what they're saying. And as the ascension nears, some of the awakened will begin to transcend 3D and move up into fourth density and finally into fifth density and some going beyond. What's happening is they're not going anywhere. They're simply raising in frequency to match that of a higher density Earth and other frequency planets and starships. They have simply become their higher frequency light body. They're still who they are. They just now have access to the higher realms from which they came. You could say that they're going home. Now, what happens to those in their group left behind? maybe I'll refer here to those staying behind as the other. Well, that will depend upon the timeline of the other. Those who have chosen not to evolve and desire to stay on the 3D Earth, they will still be resonating at the same frequency of their environment, their furniture, for example, their house or car. So when their advanced loved one ascends and moves up the frequencies into their light body, because their lower 3D body of flesh doesn't come with them, it will look to this 3D other as if they died, because their body of flesh will simply stop breathing, as in a normal death. Well, the higher essence of the being leaves that frequency. Therefore, most often, the lower frequency other will feel that they now have proof that their deluded, enlightened friend or brother or sister was indeed crazy. The other will just think that they died a natural death. See, I knew it. They thought they were going to ascend, but they just died like everyone else. Well, now, depending upon the person's timeline, there is another way that this can happen. If the ascending person has learned how to transform their DNA, their body of flesh will transmute. They will go through a metamorphosis, and their entire 3D structure will be changed into a crystalline light structure. And when this happens during ascension, the star being will disappear before the disbelieving eyes of the others. In this case, those who are observing this person that they knew, this family member or friend, they will see them turning into light and disappearing. Obviously shocked and stunned, but will then maybe finally understand that their enlightened brother was right all along. Because now they don't have a body here on Earth. They disappeared. This is how many ascended masters did it. They purposely ascended in front of their followers, hoping to teach them that this is something they are all capable of doing. And if they can do it, anyone who is motivated to evolve their consciousness can do the same. In this case, the followers would watch as the wise one begins to levitate. And as they raise higher and higher, their body will begin to take on light, getting brighter and brighter, until finally seemingly bursts into a brilliant explosion of light, and then disappear from sight. Ping! If that doesn't change a person, nothing will. Dolores Cannon once wrote about a lady who could see the future and was able to watch this ascension coming about. The woman told Dolores that as she was able to observe an awakened one ascend in front of her family and friends, she heard one of them say, "How sad. She died believing all of that." This is because all of what the other person saw was the physical body falling dead. So they just thought that this person died. And they were completely wrong about all those weird things they were saying. So I would say the lesson isn't necessarily for those ascending. It's for those left behind, those who wouldn't listen to the wisdom that their loved one was trying to tell them. And now it's too late for them to catch up, so to speak. And they'll have to maybe wait until the next planetary shift in order to move on into the higher realms and once again meet with those who've moved on before them. Now, don't get me wrong, every soul on earth will eventually ascend. It's simply choice. Some humans will be attracted to the exciting adventure of this AI future with all the implanted technology and physical enhancements, and will want to take part as a cyborg or a willing participant maybe in that timeline of domination and constraint. There are some very advanced souls here who have become addicted to the 3D stimulation of climbing the corporate ladder, the intoxication of gaining power and wealth, political influence, and are very certain that they want to take this ride and have decided that this AI future to be much more exhilarating than Ascension. And because these people are great spiritual souls who have forgotten who they are, they have managed over their lives to achieve considerable authority over others through domination and oppression, now living in affluence and enjoying all the luxuries of the flesh. And this is part of the reason that they're choosing this alternate timeline. Many of them don't want to give up what they've attained through leverage and control, and would much rather go for the life extension that's promised through the technological timeline of artificial intelligence. Whatever. So, are death and ascension the same thing? Well, as I said before, in some cases, yes. As in the case of the being who chooses to move on without their physical body. When they ascend, their physical body will die, and their true core essence, will step into or take on their higher light body. So anyone observing this transition will simply see this person die, and their body of flesh will be treated as any other death through burial or cremation. Oh, by the way, I once heard Abraham say, Abraham, Esther Hicks is the channel. Anyway, a woman was asking Abraham if when she ascends, if she could take her body with her. And Abraham said, "Why would you want to take that old thing along with you on your new adventure?" And went on to explain that the purpose of the physical body, the human body, is to allow a soul to experience a physical lifetime as a human being. So death is different than ascension from the human perspective, but not necessarily from the spiritual perspective. So what is death anyway? Well, in truth, there is no real death, as the soul, the essence, is eternal, timeless, indestructible, and will go on forever. However, the death of the human on earth is seen as an irreversible termination of all the biological functions that sustain the life of that organism. However, as I said, that's only the ending of the physical process, not of the spirit and soul. Ascension, again, at least the way it's considered from Earth, is the process in which a human elevates their consciousness through their own personal expansion and development, eventually transcending their weaknesses and those limitations of the physical world, allowing them to raise in frequency, ultimately bringing the essence of the soul into spiritual enlightenment and unity with the divine. I see ascension as developing and gaining a higher capacity for love, for gratitude and compassion for others. And as the heart opens to these deepest, intense sensations of kindness, benevolence, and an unconditional love for all, the body's vibrations begin to raise until finally reaching the higher frequencies of divine light. So we will all, at some point of our lives, experience both death and ascension, either in this lifetime or one we've already lived, or one we have yet to live. I feel that what's really important here is the experience we're having now, or have had, or will have. Experience is forever. Everything is experience, and experience is everything. And when we leave the constraints of the body, we take that experience back home with us as wisdom. This is why this human life is so significant. It can bring to us an opportunity to gain more wisdom than maybe in any other lifetime. Well, just think of all the knowledge you've been able to attain since first coming into this life. Amazing. This is the sacred journey we're all on now, through this magical romp. By choosing to be here now, willingly taking on a human body for this extraordinary adventure of ascending back up through the densities and eventually coming back home, returning once again to be that radiant being of love and light you truly are. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really love you. See you next time. Bye.